So today's Monday, April 14th, and I've been keeping an eye on Tarkir Dragonstorm collector boxes basically since release. Well, obviously since before release when it was going crazy, but really especially since release because I wanted to see kind of what happens with it on release and then the few days afterwards. And so I know that obviously some people have released some videos recently talking about Tarkir and basically where it was pre-release, where it wasn't released, and where it's going. And here's my thoughts on it. Basically, we all knew that Tarkir was going to be a great set, and already I can tell you 3 days after release, official release, that it definitely is a fantastic set. So we all know that pre-release the boxes were going crazy, like mid to high 300s, and then on release day there was a small window, like a half a day or whatever it was, where they actually dropped to like the 300, 305, 310 mark. Now, I thought originally when the boxes were like, I think they're like 360, 380 per release going into that, we all knew come Friday on release day when everyone could release their boxes and put them on TCG Player, which is the main place that everyone buys TCGs, that we would see it drop. And initially I said that my low prediction would be like 250, but I thought that was probably like really, really absolute low, and I was definitely wrong. So basically, on release day, they hit about 305, 310 for a little while, then they jumped right back up to about 380. At the filming of this right now, so it's March 14th, like I said, 382 is the cheapest on TCG Player, with only a few boxes left until basically it hits 400. So let's just make it simple and say Tarkir boxes are $400 because with tax, that's exactly what they are. And there's a few things that I was thinking about kind of over the weekend when I was watching these prices and kind of how it was going. And there's several reasons why I think that we're there and why I think that this set is just going to go fucking fast to 500. So I kind of looked at the similar kind of standard sets and ones that are different. And the ones that are similar that have been going up like crazy, Wilds of Eldraine, Bloomborough especially, what do they have in common with Tarkir? And the biggest thing that I noticed was that these actually feel like Magic sets. This was something that I talked about in a previous video, that there's a big difference when something actually feels like a Magic set versus like other IPs and things like that. When it feels like a Magic set, it's like it goes back to Magic's roots. It's what people want to see. And you have the Bloom Burrows when that first came out. Again, that was one that and Wilds of Eldraine, well, actually, and Tarkir, all three of them. They kind of had some sets before them that didn't feel as much like Magic sets, and now people actually can go and visit and go, oh, this feels right, is what it is. Because we had Murders at Karlov Manor, we had Outlaws, and we had what was the other one that was kind of little different. It was Aether Drift that just came out. Outlaws, I think it was a cool set, but like again, when you talk about like totally outside the element of what Magic feels like, that's definitely like a perfect example of it too. And Aether Drift and Murs at Karlov Manor. Again, I think they're all really cool sets, but they feel so much like a universes beyond kind of a thing that people don't really connect with it as much as they would like a regular Magic style set. That's what it feels like. And it's really tough, because again, pre-release, like the weeks and say the month or so, 30 days out, leading up to the set, everyone's excited. We're getting all these, premium, showcase cards shown to us, these previews, all these spoilers, and every set looks awesome up till release. And everyone's going to buy the set up until release until they actually see like how they really feel about it. So Aether Drift is one of those sets like right now. I was talking about that before, where it was like 280, 285 pre-release, and then once it hit release day, it started dropping, and you figured it would kind of rebound, but it didn't. It just kept slowly dropping. Everyone kind of realized that they've had their fill of the set, and they're kind of done with it, at least for now. In time, trust me, the boxes will become rare again, and people will want to chase those things again, maybe when standard rotates and the meta's changed and all that. But right now, sets like that, they just simply don't have, like, no pun intended with Aether Drift, but the gas to keep on going. Where now you kind of have this sigh of relief with like a Tarkir that comes out. We had the Innistrad Remastered. Okay, cool remastered set. Then we have a standard set like Aether Drift, and now we're on to, which were kind of good, but not great. Tarkir hits, and people absolutely loved them. And part of that too is not just because it feels like a Magic set, but also the chase in Tarkir is absolutely phenomenal. So when it came to say like a Innistrad Remastered, the chase was very simple. It was Edgar Markov and the serialized Edgar Markovs. All the other cards are fantastic in the set, but you can find them in other sets and you can find them in other places. They're not super rare. Aether Drift was a new set. They had the gold/P yellow, box toppers, which I still think are pretty cool. I like them. The theme of the set was cool if you're into cars. The wild arts were cool, but ultimately didn't have enough to hold on to for like an amazing set that people loved. Aether Spark, Ketchermos, the two big hits. After that, like I said, the prices really fall off a cliff. When it comes to Tarkir, it's definitely a little bit different. Not just the base cards in the set, because you're going to have like the Ugins, and you're going to have the Mox that's going to hold it up, but there's a bunch of other cards that are going to do really well, I think, for not just Standard, but Commander, and probably other formats too. Again, I just play Commander, but I'm assuming there's some cards for other formats too. But when we're talking about like what people actually hunt for, well, let me back up. People want to enjoy opening the packs. And when you get to a certain point, like Innistrad and Aether Drift, I'm going to pick on those specifically because they're the more recent sets before Tarkir. But you get to a point where they kind of feel like, I hate to say it, like Dominaria Remastered, where it's like the packs kind of feel the same. You can get some of those big chase hits. Like you can still pull a serialized Aether Spark and Aether Drift, and it's worth a few $1,000s, and it's absolutely amazing. I pulled one, and it's absolutely gorgeous. If I were to pull a 1 of 500 Edgar Markov, which I haven't yet, I'm sure it would be incredible. But after that, there isn't too much excitement. Sure, there are some like fancy treatments and things like that, but not too much. Now, again, going back to Tarkir, there's like several things you can hit. Even if you have some rough packs, they can still feel pretty good. So, again, you can hit like an Ugin or a Mox Jasper in a pack. Awesome, you're happy. But ultimately, like when you have the serialized 1 of 500 Mox Jasper, haven't pulled one yet. I'm looking for one, but I've seen them online. They look absolutely gorgeous. That's a huge chase thing. The Ghostfire foils, those things, I think they look fantastic. I don't think they're absolutely incredible, but they're really cool looking. They have them in English and Japanese. So you get the other kind of like subset of like a chase, which I think is awesome. That keeps people coming for more. Plus, you have the Halo versions of those, which I was lucky enough to pull. I think one of the Halo foils, there's a Crater Hoof Behemoth. I feel like there's a second one, but I can only remember one right now. But I've pulled those two, and they're absolutely incredible looking. Those look really nice. On top of that, too, you've got the Islands, the Dragon Islands. They're freaking gorgeous. I think you're getting like one foil. You can only find them in collector packs too. You can't get those anywhere else. So it's not like other things from other sets where you can get them like the cool full art lands that's in every set. They're in set packs, play boosters, whatever they're called, and all in collector packs and everywhere. These Dragon Islands are only in collector packs, so it's the only place you're going to find them. I think at this point, I've opened probably around 20 boxes, maybe 24 boxes of Tarkir. So not like a shitload, but a decent amount, enough to kind of get a feel for it. And I think at the most, I've seen like 4 Islands. At the most, I think 2 being foil in a box. Not many. It's like 1 out of 3 packs. It's really, it's kind of rare. So like, 1 or 2 foils in a box at most. I think we haven't gotten 1 or 2 boxes without the foils. So, and it's funny because I haven't looked at those prices of the Islands for a while. I want to give those like a month to see how they kind of settle, but I figure they'll probably hold a decent little price tag as hard as they are to hit. What was the other thing? Oh, obviously, I can't believe I forgot it. Was the also another one is the fetch lands. So you can get just the foil full art fetch lands as a special guest. I mean, it's it's Tarkir set. We expected fetch lands to be in there somewhere. And the regular fetch lands are fantastic. They're absolutely gorgeous looking, and they're going to hold really nice value because they're absolutely beautiful and they're hard to get. On top of that, the second layer to it is the Dragon Scale ones. And I've pulled 2 Dragon Scales from about 24 boxes, which I think is actually like really good odds. I think, what's it like? I forget what it is, like 2 per master case or 1 per master case. I forget what it was, but I mean, that's basically what I've gotten 2. And, you throw all these things together and what you have is not just a good set, but you have fun packs to open. And I think that's the biggest difference between, say, an Aether Drift and Innistrad Remastered. And well, before Karlov, but Karlov now, they are kind of fun to open. People realize like that actually is a pretty good set, especially with those the Surveil lands. They're great. They're holding a good value, but post release, it's really a matter of how well the set holds up, and it's absolutely phenomenal. There's so much cool stuff to chase in Tarkir that it's going to keep people opening them. That's why the price is so high. So I looked up there, like I said, I think it was $382 on TCG Player for low. eBay was like a tiny bit lower, but a lot less available. And it's only a few boxes till it's like $400 flat rate price on TCG Player plus tax. So that at the point you're talking like $420, $425. I did a little digging. I went online. I was looking to see how many stores have some available. And there are a few stores. I saw, your regular ones like your Dave and Adams Card World, Game Nerds. I believe Flipside Gaming still had some. Stomping Grounds, I think, still had some last time I checked, last day or so. But what I did notice, though, because I was watching this all weekend, and when the prices, again, were like $305 on Friday, to now Monday, 3 days later, they're like $380. What I noticed is these stores aren't just running out. they're listing small quantities and they're raising the price as they sell out. For example, the most one I noted for sure was Game Nerds, and it's a site that I don't order from a lot, but I have a lot in the past. I like them. I think they're reliable, and always had a good experience there. But it was, I think, yesterday they were 350. They were 349.99, and I looked, and at the time there was only one left in stock. I was like, oh shit! Like, here's another major store. They're about to run out. I said, these things are really moving. But I wasn't buying any yet. I had some already on the way, which actually came in today. Which is, thank God, I got four more, I think, um, for tomorrow's show. But I noticed that they were out, and I was like, oh wow, that's one more big store that's out of them, doesn't have them anymore. I looked again today, and they had 16 more back in stock. When I checked, they had 16 left. They could have had a 24 master case, I'm not sure, at 365. So I think what the difference is sometimes you see these stores run out and they're just done with it, and then that's it. They move on to the next thing. But what I'm realizing is a lot of these stores realize that you can just take your time, list small quantities, and that's what they're doing, because sometimes when they're out, but sometimes they take it nice and slow. And maybe people realize that Tarkir was going to be a phenomenal home run set, and it is. Again, April 13th right now, April 14th right now, so middle of April. 3 days after release, the boxes are basically $400. It's not going to take much to move these things to 500. I've only got 4 boxes, like I said, which I'm sure will be gone in a few days. But I'm going to be ordering some more soon. And I tell you what, if you like this set, don't think for a second that it's going to drop again, because it's going to go straight up to 500, like, before you know it. I'm actually going to be so bold as to say within 30 days, it might go up higher. The only thing I think that might hinder the growth of it is people waiting for Final Fantasy. And with no set between now and Final Fantasy, which is 2 months away now, like, I think we're within 60 days. People are going to start throwing money at those pre-orders. And again, going with Final Fantasy, not to go into that too much, but I think at that $600 price point for a box of collector right now, from the few stores, like the couple stores that actually have for pre-sale, that's a good price. I'm gonna flat out say it right now. That's a good price. Like I said, if I buy those for 600, whether it goes up or down 10%, I don't really even care. I want to make sure I have them in hand. And at this point with Tarkir, I'm looking at it the same way. It's funny because the last set, Aether Drift, pre-order prices were $200 a box, 210, something like that. With Tarkir, we had that price increase, so a lot of places starting pre-orders was like 235, 240. So we had that 20%, 10, 15, 20% price increase with Tarkir. And that was part of why I didn't order so much on pre-release. I got burned a little bit with Innistrad and Aether Drift. Not burned, but I have a lot in stock. Not a big deal. I'll hold on to them. I have no problem holding on to collector boxes of any kind. I'll just wait a little bit. But with Tarkir, because of the price increase for one, but also I kind of had, extra supply the last 2 sets, I took it easy with Tarkir, and I didn't get very much. And of course, now I'm like, shit. Again, hindsight's 2020. You can always look back and say what I would have done, but it doesn't matter because it's in the past. But don't expect Tarkir to drop. It's not going to. If you want those collector boxes, my suggestion is buy what's available now, because it's, before you know, it's going to be, God, do I even think it's like the first standard set to go to like $1,000 a box? It will. It 100% will. Absolutely. But I mean, time frame on that is anyone's guess, because I think once a lot of money moves to Final Fantasy, you'll see Tarkir become a little bit stagnant. But I mean, look at what's in the set. Like I said, look at some of the hits in the set as far as the base cards. You got the Dragon Eyes lands with the foils. They're absolutely incredible. You've got the fetch lands for special guests with the halos, the serialized cards. It was the part. I keep forgetting the fourth part. It was the serialized cards, the Ghostfire foils, which, again, the Ghostfire foils, I like them. I think they're cool. I don't think they're the biggest selling point, though. I like them. The Halo ones are phenomenal, but those are really hard to pull. So, yeah, if you're waiting for Tarkir to go down, well, you'll be waiting a long time, because I think it's going to do nothing to do but go up. My decision right now is, I've actually been thinking the past day is, at this price, do I just look at these stores that have it under 400, just grab what I can, and then kind of tuck some away? I'm not big on tucking away collector boxes. I like to have them for my show, but this is one of those weird situations where, like, it's gone up so quick, so fast. It's not a bad idea to tuck a box or two away and just put it on the shelf, kind of enjoy looking at it sealed, and just see what happens. It just got released 3 days ago. They're already $400 a box. It's wild. If this is any indication for Final Fantasy, it's gonna be fucking crazy.